Hey guys, so we are in this kind of golden phase for this project. We already have all the information, we know the instructions, and now it's a matter of just creating some more and really getting time to practice that skill. Sort of like if we were learning to play the piano, we wouldn't just play a song once and be like, cool, I know how to play the piano now, I am good. Right? We would practice multiple times with that song, with other songs, and we would keep practicing to gain that skill. That's the phase we are in now. We are continuing to gain this skill. But now we can choose different pictures, and we can use some of our creative freedom to kind of choose first off what picture we want to use and to decide how exactly we want to make that look with the information that we've learned last week with all of our graphic art instructions. So that's where we're at. So as far as these next two photos that we'll be including in our art journal before we turn it all in, we have more creative freedom. So it might be a photo you took of a pet. Maybe it's a photo you took of a beautiful landscape last summer. Maybe you have a friend or a family member who has a birthday coming up, and so you've taken a picture of them or a picture that you know that they would like, and you're going to make that for them for a gift. So definitely, like I said, more creative freedom here. So the one thing I always like to throw caution out there for whether it's this project or any project is just we always want to make sure it's school appropriate, right? So that if the principal is looking over your shoulder and checking out your artwork, would you feel proud? Or would you be like, maybe this isn't okay? Because if you kind of get that thought, then it maybe isn't something we should use for a school project. Maybe that's better suited for a personal project then. So just always keeping that in mind. Like, for example, last year I had a student that really they had a favorite musician, and so they wanted to use an album cover, but in that album cover the musician was smoking, and we're like, well, that's not really a school appropriate activity, so maybe that's not a good thing to use for this project to turn in for school. Now that doesn't mean you should never look at a photo that or an album cover where the musician is smoking, like but that might be more of a personal project, not a school project. So just thinking about stuff like that. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Another thing is what happens if you didn't take a picture that you want to use, but instead there's like, for example, that album cover, right? And we want to use that. Can I just pull a photo off of Google? No. It's going to be like the quick answer for me to give to you because of copyright infringement. And a lot of those photos on Google do have copyrights. And the last thing I would ever want to have happen is for a student to basically have, whoever took that picture to find you and be like, you used my photo for your own personal reasons, and that goes against my copyright, and then, potentially taking you to court or, asking for monetary payback for using their imagery. So we don't want that to happen ever. So my suggestion is to always use websites that have their copyright-free images. So like we can see in the slide for today, Unsplash, Pixels.com, Pixabay.com, CreativeCommons.org. Those are all great ones. You could even use the photos that are in Pixlr-E. Once again, just make sure anything we're using is all school appropriate, right? And everything's tracked on our Chromebooks too, so we always want to be careful of that. So let's say, for example, I really want a picture of a cat, but I don't have a cat. Let's pretend I actually do, but let's pretend I don't. So maybe I come on into Pixabay, and I type in the word cat. And oh my goodness, look at this kitty, is so cute. Oh my goodness, look at that. Are you kidding me? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click, and I know you guys can't see this in the recording, but it popped up that like where it says, oh, do I want to save? Do I want to copy it? I'm going to just choose copy. Okay, so I'm copying the image, and then I can come over here into Pixlr. There's a different cat one I saw. And paste it in. So Control V, right? So I can paste it right on in. Now remember, the very first thing, before, I know you're excited and it's like, yes, let's start my next one. Before we do that, we want to make sure to go to layer and add a new layer on top. I am going to go to Intuit and write outline so I know which layer it is. Then I'm going to go to my pencil and I'm going to change it usually to a 2 or a 4. It tends to be my favorite size. 1 can be a little too skinny where it might start when you fill it in, when we paint with the fill bucket. It can kind of bleed through, so we don't always want to do that. And then I reduce the softness and step down to 0. So now I am ready. I'm on my outline layer. Yes, I am ready to start drawing in. I'm going to just do it real quick. Yes, there we go. I would do a better job than that. I would zoom in, but we can see that it does in fact work, right? So there we go. And you guys, if you need a refresher on any of this information, feel free to go back a few slides and to look for the one that really goes into detail, but I don't want this video to take forever. So we can always go back and watch that specific video if needed. All right, so that being said, couple quick reminders. Make sure that whenever you are done working on it for the day, to do a save as. So go to File and Pixlr File and Save, and you should be able to save it right into your Google Drive. I highly recommend putting it right in your art folder right away too, so it's organized. Make sure you're zooming on in to draw those outlines, those contour lines. That's going to give you the best results. Always make sure you are on the outline layer, not on the background layer. And then don't forget, at the end of class, that we want to be going into our art journal. We are on day 6. You can see it right up here. And in day 6, don't forget to fill in that time. All right, you guys, we'll have fun. Can't wait to see what you're coming up with now that we have a little bit more creative freedom in what we are creating. See you next time.